Call the roll, Mr. Clerk.
Alarcon, Alatorre, Burnson, Browdy, Chick, Fuhr, Galanter, Goldberg, Hernandez, Holden, Ridley, Thomas, Savornich, Wax, Walters, Ferraro. 10 council members present in a quorum, Mr. President.
All right, first order of business, Mr. Clerk.
Approval of the minutes.
Without objection, the minutes are approved. Next order.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Unanimous approval. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
On the regular agenda, item number 1 is a confirmation of a city official.
All right. Before we go to item number 1, the chair would like to recognize Councilman Alatorre and Councilman Hernandez for a special presentation.
Mr. President and members, today it's a great deal of pleasure that I welcome dignitary Governor of Durango, Mexico, el licenciado Maximiliano Silverio Esparza. He's here for the next several days. Not only today, they unveiled a bus at the Parque de Mexico. He will be visiting with various civic associations and social clubs to promote Mexico in the way that other governors have done here in Los Angeles. It's a particular pleasure to introduce him. And he joined with several members of the clubs of Durango. Primarily, it is a group of men and women that have come from the great state of Durango, and they're here to not only to promote it in the best sense of the word, but to come here to the city hall and to come to the city of Los Angeles in an effort to try and bring better relationships and provide better economic opportunities in his state. It's particularly important that we acknowledge that we have him here with his party. And I'd like to, before we present the certificate of welcome to the governor of Durango, I just wanted to acknowledge that today, and Mike will talk about this, we had the great pleasure of unveiling the statue to the first president of Mexico that happened to be born in Durango. And with that, I'd like to call on my colleague, Mr. Councilman Mike Hernandez, that will say a few words and then we'll present the certificate.
Again, I also want to welcome the governor from Durango, Maximiliano Silerio Esparza, and his wife. You need to know that Consul General of Mexico, Pescador, would be here, except he was dealing with it. He had like an ailment, a freezing, so he couldn't be here today. But his representatives are here. And I'd like the Magañas to please stand. Samuel, and Hortensia, por favor, separen un segundo. Pasen para acá. You know, members of the council, this morning I had the pleasure of witnessing the unveiling of the bus at Parque de Mexico. And many of you don't know Parque de Mexico, but it's a park that Councilman Alatorre and I basically share. He has a statue of Emiliano Zapata on his side of the district. I got the rest of the park, so I don't mind that arrangement. But the reality is, Parque de Mexico, every time I go there to one of the unveiling of the bus, because there are always gifts from different states of Mexico, I share with people some of my confusion. And this morning I did that. I started by letting them know I was nervous. And the reason I was nervous is when I met the governor, Maximiliano Silerio, I told him my name was Mike Hernandez, and he right away translated it to Miguel Hernandez. And I shared with him that I always tell the Latino population in Los Angeles, Spanish speaking, that my birth certificate says Michael Hernandez. And the reason I do that is because part of the confusion of being Mexican American and making sure people understand I am American of Mexican descent. But see, the unveiling of the bust of Guadalupe Victoria, the first president of Mexico, he was president in the year 1825. And what the few of us know is that at that time, he was the president of this territory. Very few people understand that. I share with people that for some reason when we talk about history of the city of Los Angeles, it starts in 1870, when the reality our city was formed almost 100 years before that. And so we, as a population, as Mexican Americans or Americans of Mexican descent, also have a need to understand our history. And I think the rest of Los Angeles has a need to understand that history, especially when we're dealing with the movements like 187 and we're dealing with the realities of the new Welfare Reform Act. and they're treating immigrants separately, because we forget the relationship that has been long-standing with Mexico, and the fact that many of our parents are immigrants who are legally here, but now could be losing certain benefits simply because they have not become citizens. Yet they've been here for 40, 50 years, working and paying their taxes like everybody else. So today, when I saw the unveiling of the bust of Guadalupe Victoria, the first president of Mexico, it reminded me that this was Mexico at that time, and he was the president of this territory. And it's something that maybe all Evangelinos should be aware of, because it's part of our history. And understanding that history might make us or allow us to understand each other a little bit better. And so I wanted to thank the governor of Durango for that gift. And again, we needed to thank the people who worked hard, the Magañas, to make sure it came here. And that unveiling was today. And if you ever have a chance to go to Parque de Mexico, take the time to look at the statues and understand all of our history as Angelinos, because it's part of that history also. With that, I'd like to call up Gobernador Maximiliano Silaria Esparza. Por favor.
It's a pleasure to present this certificate. Es para mí un honor presentar este reconocimiento y darle la bienvenida al gobernador de Durango, Maximiliano Silverio Esparza. Señor.
Gracias, señora Latorre. Muy amable. Gracias.
Gracias.
Can we have some order in the council, please?
Honorable Cabildo de Los Ángeles, muchas gracias por recibirnos este día en este honorable recinto.
Honorable members of the Council of the City of Los Angeles, thank you very much for receiving us in this day.
Muchas gracias también por este certificado de bienvenida que ustedes han entregado a su amigo Maximiliano Silerio Esparza, gobernador constitucional del Estado de Durango, México.
Thank you very much also for this certificate of welcome that you have given to your friend Maximiliano Silerio Esparza, governor of the state of Durango.
A nombre del pueblo y del gobierno de Durango, quiero decirles que me siento muy contento y orgulloso de estar esta mañana en esta reunión, en esta sesión de trabajo, donde ustedes tratan los asuntos más importantes relacionados con la buena marcha de los servicios de la gran ciudad de Los Ángeles, California.
On behalf of the people and the government of the state of Durango, I want to tell you that I'm very proud to be here in this session where you deal with all the problems and the matters of the city of LA.
El estado de Durango es un estado del norte de México. Estamos a 2 horas y media por aire desde la ciudad de Durango hasta la ciudad de Los Ángeles, y esto nos acerca a ustedes de una manera extraordinaria. Las distancias en kilómetros ya no cuentan. En la vida moderna lo que importa es la capacidad para entender la nueva dinámica y poder trasladarnos con la velocidad de la dinámica moderna a todas las partes del mundo.
The state of Durango is a northern state of Mexico, and right now there is a direct flight that takes only 2.5 hours to go from Los Angeles to Durango. In this new area, the miles don't count anymore, but the time to move from one place to another.
2 horas y media pueden ser también las que ustedes pueden usar para recorrer de un extremo a otro la propia ciudad de Los Ángeles.
In 2.5 hours, you may spend from going from one end to another end of the city of Los Angeles.
De manera que estamos muy cerca de ustedes, casi juntos. Y por eso venimos a decirles que esta es una gira de trabajo. Me acompaña mi esposa, la señora Elvira Díaz de Silerio, mi hijo Max, que es el que está haciendo la traducción, colaboradores de mi gobierno que formamos esta comitiva. Durante 3 días hábiles, miércoles, jueves y viernes, estaremos en contacto directo y permanente con la comunidad duranguense en Los Ángeles o mexicanos en Los Ángeles, en una promoción turística y en una promoción comercial y buscando inversiones de capitales de Los Ángeles en la ciudad de Durango.
This is an official visit to the city of LA. My wife and the rest, some members of my cabinet are with me in this trip. In the next few days, we will be promoting the state of Durango in the tourist and commercial affairs, because we want to invite the investors of the city of Los Angeles to know about Durango and to invest in Durango.
Les estimo mucho este espacio tan amable que ustedes han propiciado a la delegación de duranguenses que este día han llegado a su recinto. Les deseo que todos los acuerdos que aquí se tomen sean en bien de todos los habitantes de la ciudad de Los Ángeles. Entiendo muy bien lo que es la función de un cuerpo colegiado plural como es el que ustedes integran. Yo he sido parlamentario a nivel federal en el Senado de la República, pero ante todo y sobre todo he sido presidente municipal, es decir, mayor de la ciudad de Durango, donde toda proporción guardada, también presidí un cabildo como este del que ustedes forman parte y donde se toman acuerdos tan importantes para la buena marcha de la ciudad.
We appreciate the time for our delegation in this session you have today. I was member of a council as mayor of the city of Durango back in 1971, and I understand what important is what you are doing tonight for the well-being of the people of the city of LA.
Muchas gracias por escucharme, gracias al público asistente y si ustedes me lo permiten, saliéndome un poco del protocolo, aprovecho para desearles a mi amigo Mike Hernández muchas felicidades en su cumpleaños y gracias a todos.
Muchas gracias to you.
Thank you very much for your time. And moving out of my speech, I want to take this time to wish my friend Mike Hernandez happy birthday. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're honored to have you with us today. We thank you. And
Just a little
Mr.
side note.
Alatorre, Mr. Hernandez, thank you.
The translator did a very good job of translating everything the governor said except one part, and that was the governor mentioned that his son is translating for him at this time, and that's the governor's son.
And once again, thank you to Samuel and Hortensia Magana, to all of those from the great state of Durango. We thank them for their presence and especially the presence of the governor. Thank you very much.
Mr. President and colleagues, I'm actually asking our guests if they'll stay just a few more minutes,
All right.
because it's my great pleasure to draw attention to some very special students, a special school, and their principal. And I was listening to my colleagues, and I was especially listening to Mr. Hernandez's discussion about the history of this city, the culture of this city, and I thought it would be good to also share now with you, our guests, paying attention and celebrating, even though it doesn't start until tomorrow. We're not here in council. The very special holiday that always comes at this time of year, close to the holiday of Christmas, but unrelated, and that's the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah. I'd like to call up the students and their principal from Kadima Academy. Kadima Hebrew Academy, come on up and join me, is in the West San Fernando Valley. These students are 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. They're all elected on their student council, and they learned something very important. They learned how to have a voice and a presence with government. They learned how to lobby. They wrote a whole bunch of very moving letters to the U.S. Postmaster General asking for a 32-cent United stamp, postage stamp, to be a Hanukkah stamp. And they were successful in this lobbying. On October 23rd, 1996, the West Coast premiere of the stamp took place at the Kadima Hebrew Academy. The stamp was a joint issuance here and in the nation of Israel. These children learned many important lessons as a result of lobbying the Postal Service to issue a Hanukkah stamp, that their voice can be heard. They learned how to have an active role in government. It increased their pride in recognition of the heritage and history of Judaism and the holiday of Hanukkah. The first night of Hanukkah is Thursday, December 5th. And colleagues, you'll see on your desks, I've given you each a dreidel filled with Hanukkah gelt. I want to give all of the students, and I'll let you help me pass them out, a thank you for being here and an early present of Hanukkah gelt. Before the principal, Mr. George Lebowitz, speaks to us, we did present a certificate. Happiness is the unveiling of the first commemorative Hanukkah stamp issued by the United States Postal Service to the Kadima Hebrew Academy. And now I'd like to turn the mic over to Mr. Lebowitz.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. The holiday of Hanukkah is the first recorded instance of a people fighting for religious freedom as opposed to political freedom. And it began when the Greek kingdom tried to prohibit the Jews from practicing their religion and impose upon them their religious practices. And so it is very fitting that our government today issue a stamp celebrating that holiday of Hanukkah, because we're very fortunate to live in a country that not only permits its citizens to practice whatever religion they believe in, but with the issuance of this stamp actively celebrates that freedom and rejoices in that freedom that we all have. Our students wrote to the Postmaster General, as Mrs. Chick said, and they also wrote letters to various senators, and they have learned a great lesson in participating in democracy. We are very proud and pleased that when the stamp was issued, the post office surprised us and had a special cancellation made up. And it says, Kadima Academy, you can make a difference. The official Hanukkah stamp station, Woodland Hills, California, October 23rd, because it was our students that made a difference by letting their opinions be known and trying to influence elected officials, as I'm sure you're very familiar with on the receiving end of many such communications from the citizens of Los Angeles. And in this case, it was successful, and we're proud of that accomplishment. We have a gift for each of you of a Kadima envelope with that special cancellation for all the members of the council and your staff. It's only 32 cents, so I don't think anyone could construe it as a bribe on a stamp, but it's very attractive, and it is a collector's item for those who collect stamps, and I will ask you to distribute that to everyone. Thank you so much for inviting us here today. We're honored and delighted, and on behalf of all of the students and the parents and the board at Academia Hebrew Academy, we thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Ms. Chick. Thank you. Jackie. Dreidel. Oh, we can do dreidel later. Very good. What do you think? Order, Mr. Clerk.
On the regular agenda, item number 1 is a confirmation of a city official. It's an Environmental Quality and Waste Management Committee report recommending approval of the mayor's appointment of Irene